Hello everyone and good morning and gig 'em Aggies, right? Those of you that are out there in the Aggie Wonderland that live in Texas, that are Aggies, that are Aggie moms, Aggie dads, all of that over there, we are expecting miracles. We are praying. We are being grateful for the miracles we receive, and we just got one more reminder last night to expect miracles because nobody expected Texas A&M University to beat Alabama last night, and it happened. And both of our boys were at that game, and Hunter Hilliard was celebrating his 21st birthday. He will never forget that experience, I can assure you. What do you think about that, Joe?
I am glad that he got a win, and that your folks were up there, and that it was just a special day for him when we couldn't be up at College Station.
It was a big day. Everybody was there, and I just really, it's exciting for Hunter and it's exciting for everyone. But that got me thinking about the idea of expecting miracles, and I actually have made a piece of art that lives in my mom's house that says expect miracles, and I made that a decade ago, probably made it more than a decade ago, but with the concept of really getting myself in and understanding about what does expecting miracles mean to me. And one of the things where this started for me and where I started really paying attention to this was back when my daughter was 18 months old, and they found what they believed was a terminal brain tumor in the spine of in my brain, and at the very base of my brain. And I leaned into that with expecting a miracle. Everything had to change for a bit of time in our lives for us to figure out what was going on. But at the end of the day, I had what they would call a spontaneous remission. And it's actually something that if you ask any surgeon, doctor, anyone in the medical field, they will tell you there is this thing called spontaneous remission that is hardly studied. And so we just call it a miracle these days, right? And I learned back then to expect miracles, and I do expect miracles, and I'm always thrilled to see those happen. And the reason I wanted to talk about this morning is because as we enter October, and as we enter the big planting season, and as we enter the part of the year where most of our production crops for vegetable production are happening down here, and our flower crops and all of that stuff are happening down here on the coast in South Texas, we are forecasting. We are setting our intentions. We are planting our seeds. But I want to remind you that when I garden, it's always from my sanctuary. When I garden, it's always from a place of expecting nothing but the best from Gaia, from nature, from Mother Earth, from all that exists, and expecting miracles. Even to the point of taking little tiny babies in, baby chicks, baby animals, all of those things, and expecting miracles from those experiences. And as you got to see our new little babies over there, we're pretty excited about that. We've got 9 there, and we've got 8 there, and I expect 6 of them to be females and possibly 2 of them to be roosters. I'm hoping for that. Some real little crazy little roosters with crazy hair and crazy silky feet and all kinds of fun stuff like that, and I look forward to showing more of that to you guys. I also want to show you in my greenhouse, and I also want to remind you about the seed swap that's happening tonight here at the farm, or this afternoon here at the farm. It starts at 3 o'clock and it will be done at 5 o'clock. Whether you have a lot of plants or seeds to swap, please come, because this is a chance for us to swap stories. And one of the things that I will be giving out today at the seed swap is my planting guide that goes from October through February. So basically from now until the next seed swap in March, you've got a planting guide that tells you exactly what to plant, but you gotta come to the seed swap to get it in your hand today. It is one that I've been working on for about 2 decades, in all honesty. Now, maybe I haven't been jotting it, but I've been jotting it for a solid decade, and I've been learning it for 2 decades. And learning a lot about the transitional weather, learning a lot about growing things that we've never grown down here, that a lot of folks are not interested in growing, and it's because I expect miracles to come out of the earth. I expect good things to come from the ground, and I expect good things to come from the seeds that I've planted, the seeds that I have sowed. And so I want to come and show you guys some more of that, because I want you guys to come out today to that seed and plant swap. Right here I've got my little plants to swap that I'm starting to gather up here. It's a lot of that red sage salvia that I always teach everyone that they need to plant in their permaculture gardens. No matter what you're doing in your garden, this plant should be in it, and it will begin to spread everywhere. Another one is the longevity spinach, and then I've got some kale that's starting to come back. And I've got some cabbages that are starting to come back if somebody wanted to baby those. And then I've got a lot of plants that are starting to come up in here in the greenhouse that are all my babies that I'm planting this season to go out, not just to my gardens, but also to when I go and set up at a farmer's market or anything like that, and to participate in any kind of swaps or plant swaps that I want to. Now, I do want to talk to you a little bit about planting, and that's the reason why the seed swap and the plant swap is happening today at 3 p.m. here at the farm, is because I do want to talk a little bit about really starting your own seeds. And the planting guide that I will give you will give the things that I direct sow, which means that's the things that you've seen me over the weeks putting directly into the gardens. I'm direct sowing my root vegetables right now and making sure that I go out to make sure they germinate. I've got to put water on them at least once a day. When you're talking about carrots in the earlier season, and now if it's going to be dry for a few weeks because we just had that massive rain for several days, then you're going to need to go out once or twice a day and spray down where you have planted any carrot seeds, because carrot seeds can take up to 14 days to germinate. Now that's a direct sow. Your radishes, your turnips, your beets will be a little bit easier to germinate. It will certainly germinate in much less time. Within a few days even, I've seen germination on radish and turnips. So those are things to keep in mind. In that scenario, a lot of times what I will do is I will keep things like turnips separate from things like carrots, because I have to continue to keep watering and watering and watering the carrots to make sure that they get a nice coverage with a nice germination. So that's some things to think about when you've got old beds, new beds, things like that. In my old bed, so what I would consider my permaculture irrigated garden that you've seen over on the far side of the house where the irrigation system is and lots of flowers and things are still growing over there, you will see what I'm doing over there is I'm putting in a lot of plants that are already developed. So that would be plants that are going out of my hoop house here, my greenhouse here, my little nursery that I'm going in and putting out there, or plants that I've purchased from a local nursery in town that I'm putting out in those places. Once I get all of that stuff really well established, then if I choose to put out some just broadcasted, and this is still talking about direct sowing, if I still put out some broadcasted seeds, fall flowers, cilantro, dill, stuff like that, then it will germinate as it doesn't really matter, basically. It's not like the carrots where I'm like, gotta water, or the babies in the greenhouse, gotta water. When you go ahead and direct sow around plants that you've already planted, all you're looking for basically is for your seeds that you have broadcast to take over where the weeds would potentially grow, right? So you're trying to cover that bare soil with a broadcast of nice fall seeds that whether they germinate like that or not is okay. They don't have to have a consistent germination rate. Whereas things like carrots, beets, all of those types of things, you're gonna want a more consistent germination rate. So go out and hit them those first 2 weeks and leave them in a space that is kind of their own until they've established and germinated. And then at that point, you can weed, clean out, you can weed, you can do some other things to take care of those kinds of things. And at that point, once you've got them in, they're going good, they're germinated, start to expect miracles of nice little rain showers that will help to give them just enough water to where you won't actually have to even water anymore, right? So let's look around in the nursery here and see what we're working on here and what miracles I expect to come out of this greenhouse this year. So you can see what I'm doing here. I don't have any seeds started right now. I would encourage you to continue to start seeds every day, as often as you can, as much places as you have to start them in. I'm actually going to be going on a quick little vacation with my mom. I have not taken a vacation at all this year, and the timing of the move and all of those types of things, sometimes you just got to take it when you have a chance to take it. So what I've done, because I've mentioned this to you guys a few weeks ago, when you expect miracles, you have to understand that you've got to take time for self-care, even if it's not at the best time ever. But the miracles that are expected from that is that you have done the work, you have sowed the seeds, you have prepared the gardens, and then you step away when you need to. And you just do it, because that's what we do. We do that to take care of ourselves. So what I've done to prepare myself for that is to make sure that all of my babies are well established. I'm working to get them all sorted out. So if you see, I've got all these scraggly little
3s and 2s over here. These all need to, over the next week, get into singles like this, so they're all really well established. And then I can leave my watering to someone else to help me out with about once a day. Come out here, just make sure everything gets hit with a nice water in the morning before the sun hits. Joe, you gonna help me out with that?
Of course.
A few days of watering, someone else can help you out with that, okay? Or you just expect miracles, and they will happen, I promise you. I've got plants over there that can go a couple of days without watering, and that's okay, even babies. That's the case that it is, and we're getting into that time of year where the temperatures are cooling down, and that we can expect things to happen without us having to be there tapping our toes and being on it all of the time. This is the time of year that you're just in the flow of growing. You're constantly planting, you're constantly moving things around, but you're managing your time and you're thinking about what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So for me, over the next week, until I go on a quick little short vacation, I'm going to move all these babies up, get them strongly established. I'm not planting any more seeds. The moment I get back in town, the Monday after my little vacation, I will hit the seeds back in the ground again. I will put more seeds back out in my gardens again, get out there and start daily germination, getting those things all germination and germinated well. Now, because I expect rain this time of year, every time I get some good rain, I'm going to spend the next week after that cleaning my gardens as fast as I possibly can, because this is the time when the soil is soft. Now, if you don't have the time or have decided that you're not going to plant any annual vegetables this year until maybe the springtime, that's fine, completely acceptable, makes perfect sense. But don't stop gardening, okay? That's the one thing I'll tell you. Continue to take the time for yourself to go outside in your garden and enjoy the beauty of fall, and continue to keep piddling away in your garden, pulling up those weeds, cleaning things up, digging in the soil while it's nice and soft, while you have the cooler temperatures, to begin preparing it for your spring gardens. And if you're not going to plant anything else, run out to your nursery today and buy a package of beneficial wildflower mix, or they call it like bird seed mix or whatever. It's basically just wildflowers. It's nice beneficial flowers like calendula, like the salvias, the dills, all of those things that I love to plant, the bachelor buttons, all of those things. And even if you don't do anything major, seed bomb all of those soft soil spaces, because you're going to end up with beautiful blue bonnets and beautiful butterflies and all kinds of things coming around in your gardens as the spring sets in, and then you get ready. Oh, you're so excited to get your spring garden planted. That's kind of where we are in the season this year. Let's go over and have a visit with our chickens, and then Joe, do you think we should take them over and show them the chicken tractor today?
Well, if there are chickens in it.
Yeah.
So we look back at last week. I'm along for any ride.
Any questions anybody has on there for me today?
Not yet.
So as all of you guys know, we have been adding to our flock here at Freedom Harvest Farms. This is the main coop. I'll call it the Taj Mahal coop. And you're fine. Did you hit your head on that tree back there? It's good. You're good. I can see. So we've got this nice Taj Mahal chicken coop going on over here, and this is where the main coop ladies live. And I also have one rooster in here with the babies that you saw over there today. They're looking really good, and I've got a couple of potential male roosters coming out of that. And so I'm super excited about what's happening over there. And then of course we've got the chicken tractor out in the other garden, and we're gonna move that into a little bit of a different space over there. And then we're gonna put the tunnel down a different section of the garden and get those ladies working. Now they have been working really well, because all of that area has a lot of nice mulch in it and has been a lot of moisture in my soil. So the runs that I have that come out of my little chicken tractor, and if you want to go back to last few episodes, you can actually see what I'm talking about. And the runs run out down my footpaths. and they get in there and they dig up. And I'll tell you, I've been finding a lot of grubs in my footpaths and a lot of grubs under the wood, and they love those grubs. So if I go in there and dig all that stuff out, that's great, but it's me down on my hands and knees getting in the dirt, digging up all of that stuff. Rather, I could actually put them out there and they get to eat all of those awesome grub worms, and then they get to tear up all of that stuff, eat the weed seeds out, because that's part of it. I don't want them eating the weed seeds. I don't want to have to germinate those weed seeds, right? Sorry about the wind, you guys. It's a nice windy, cool day. We're enjoying that very much out here. But they're cleaning up all of that Bermuda grass out of the rows and making the stuff really nice, and then laying down, of course, some of their fertilizer for me. And then I'm able to pull those out, and we are going to be getting some more extensions made. We've got all of the materials. My dad created a right-hand angle for us so that I can begin moving those guys around that garden. Once I've got them hitting all that garden, then I can move them over to the other front garden, and they're going down those rows and hitting all those rows, and then they're laying amazing eggs. We are just seeing so much. And in addition to that, it's giving us a little more control over flock integration, because when we pull 2 chickens out and put them somewhere else for a few days, I like to call it a turnaround. If you're in the industry area like we are, and you have a lot of folks working shift work around you, then you understand exactly what a turnaround is. And I always say that I got 2 chicks. They go out there to, they spend a couple days out there, and then they come home for the weekend, and then I pick 2 more up and take them out. So tonight, before we get the coop, today we're going to get the tractor set back where we want it to go, and then I'm going to put 2 new ladies in. And because I'm putting 2 new ladies in, what's happening is that those chickens are getting a lot more special attention. They're getting the special attention of being out there. They're getting the special attention of being pulled away from the main flock. The main flock is learning how to reintegrate again with the new chickens in the new kind of pecking order over a few days, because chickens don't know why chickens come and go. They don't really quite understand what's happening with that. And then when we bring them back in, then there's more of an integration of flocks, because we've noticed, have you noticed that they're like, now it's a full flock, it's not 2 separate flocks anymore?
There's no fighting any longer. They've gotten all to know one another.
Yeah, and so part of what we've done with that is we've been taking our backyard chickens, the ones we originally had, the ones that know the tunnels and are also very clear about where to lay eggs. They understand the nesting box. By the way, all of the new chickens that we brought in, they all now lay in the nesting box as well. So they do pick it up. They learn from each other. They watch each other.
Yeah, Kate Moss was up in that nesting box a little earlier, which is why I went over there, and you can kind of see that we're getting 5 to 7 eggs a day from the 11 roosters that we have.
Those big eggs right there, I can guarantee you Tweedledee and Tweedledum are laying those big giant eggs. Because,
good catch.
Dang, that was good. Look at that. That's just from
so
this
that's
morning.
6 today, yeah.
This is Kate Moss's egg right here, because she lays white eggs. She's the only one that lays white eggs.
That's a nice handy dandy way to, can you do that for me?
Yes. So, so over in the
way to retrieve them.
In the coop over there, they're able to come out and go over there, right? So now I'm touching chickens, we're picking them up more, we're moving them around. Now I'm going to start taking out some of the new chickens that have never had a tunnel run experience, that have never had tunnels to run through, and have never had that experience, to see how they do over there in those particular areas. And the other thing that happens with that, and I noticed that I had, of the new hens that I had gotten in the old backyard chicken group, I had never taken any of those to any kind of an event. And in the past, I used to take my chickens, the first flock we ever had, I used to take them around all over the place, to schools. We took them to the learning garden many times. We took them to the farmer's market. I took them to the news station regularly, and had a chicken with me everywhere. So I knew which chickens had really a lot of experience with that and didn't peck and didn't act weird and were easy to catch and all of that. So this time I had to take a new one, but I will tell you that one of my favorite chickens for children, if you've got children around, is the barred rock hen. That's the black and white lady not her, although she does a really good job too. It's the
she's hiding
I don't know
under
where she
the.
is. She's hiding out. She's all black and white stripy, and she's just really non-aggressive and super cool. And so part of getting your chickens in a way where you can transport and show them around and take them to your kids' classes or anything like that, which I would encourage. If you're a parent that has chickens, offer yourself up to show them off to people, because it really makes a difference in how we learn how to take care of, backyard livestock and how we integrate animals into our lifestyle and stuff like that. And it also just gets their attention. So yesterday, planting carrots with 2-year-olds, I showed up with, a crazy witch hat and crazy socks and a chicken. And the chicken, of course, catches everyone's attention. And she was very, very good and very cool. And so it's really good to be able to touch your chickens and to move them around. Now, as I say that, I always want to remind people that chickens do carry diseases that humans shouldn't ingest. So as soon as you touch a chicken, or you go into a chicken coop, or you touch the eggs, or whatever, your littles, whatever, don't be kissing on your chickens. Don't do that. That's not smart. But if your kids touch chickens and all of that kind of stuff, then go ahead and just wash their hands as soon as they're done. Don't be paranoid. Expect miracles, that nothing ever will bad happen, but also be wise and be in preparation for things that, can happen, right? Keep your hands clean and keep your immunity high by drinking and eating all the good stuff that's available for you. So that's all I have today. However, I do want to remind and don't want you to forget that today is the seed and plant swap. I said it at the beginning, I'm going to say it again. Come to the farm. It's a quick drive from Corpus Christi, like 20 to 25 minutes, almost depending, no matter where you are. Come out here, visit with us. Let's swap plant stories. If you've got seeds to swap, they can be last season seeds, they can be seeds you collected. It doesn't really matter. Bring out some seeds. If you've got a ridiculous amount of radish seeds and you don't know what you're going to do with them all, bring them out. Somebody else may not have those. If you've got some plants, some spares of anything that you just kind of were playing with, you got too many of them and you want to share those, bring those as well. Bring a chair, okay? Because we don't have all of our chairs here yet. We don't have all of that situation set up here. We're going to be hanging out inside the patio and inside my little studio. Of course, we can make our way around the yard because it's not super muddy anymore. And just come on out. Bring yourself a beverage if you want to bring a beverage to share, or just bring your own beverage. And bring a snack if you'd like to share a snack. We're going to put out a few of the little things that we have here. I made some really delicious basil pesto, put out some crackers to go with it, and that's what we have going on today. I'm super excited about it. Can't wait to see you.
Reminds folks to bring mosquito spray if they have some.
Yeah, if you have mosquito spray, definitely bring your mosquito spray, but I can even tell the difference of just after we got it mowed this morning. It's already better today than it usually is. Of course, I eat a lot of garlic, so I'm like not as attractive to the mosquitoes as other people might be. I also probably don't catch as many viruses as other people do because I eat a lot of garlic. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, bye you guys. I love you. I hope you have the best week ever, no matter what you're doing. Take care of yourself and never, never, never stop expecting miracles.